No.
So I think they're trying to, because again, they told the family what they said, and now one of them is potentially being upgraded to the Medal of Honor, the Army guy, the Master Sergeant, I think is
Yeah.
what it is, or something like that. And I think that's why they're trying to come out because they're trying to save face to for him to get the medal, even probably the Marine, because they're both there doing the same damn thing. But then, of course, these other guys, they're coming out. Well, you don't know what all they did. Well, actually, we kind of do. They didn't really do a whole lot. Yeah, they got a hold of militia. Again, I read his whole freaking thing, and he even contradicts his own damn medal in his statement to Congress. He says they when the mortars came in, they went into the building and waited 2 to 3 minutes after everything was quiet before they came out.
I
That's
think
his own freaking words.
Battle Line podcast. You guys already see who's on. John Tiegen, and we recorded the interview truthfully. And Chris was saying there's probably stuff that Tig spoke about in this interview that you're not going to hear anywhere else.
no, you guys. I think the only other time he's really talked about a lot of this was on our very, very first interview we did with Brett Baer, long time ago, and
And he wasn't as candid. I mean, you
and he
can't
definitely
talk
no,
like
yeah, and
you
it
do
wa
on here on
yeah,
Brett
yeah,
Baer.
definitely wasn't as candid because it's a syndicated mainstream media show, but it was wonderful, and honestly, it was wonderful for me because whenever he said talked about where he was at, I would remember where I was standing and the views I was watching this all take place from my rooftop. So, yeah, it takes a freaking hero, man. I don't people realize he was a brave son of a bitch, especially after the mortars, and you guys will hear as such because and I have a lot of respect for what he did getting up on that rooftop first thing right after the mortar stopped falling. I know a lot of guys that didn't do that when they could have, not just in our situation, but others. And so yeah, it was wonderful to hear him talk about it. It was wonderful that he was opening up about it, and it was wonderful just to have him on because he's one of my best friends. We may not talk all the time, but I love him to death, man. And of course, that's why I defended him and will continue to defend him vehemently, if that's the word.
Yeah, Mike, you
Vehement,
definitely made up a word that
yeah, yeah. How do
I
you
know
say
what
it?
you're trying to say. What word are you trying to
I will
use?
I will defend him with
Vehemently, right?
vehemently.
Vehemently.
You guys know what I'm saying, but I will always defend him to the day I die because first of all, he did it, and for somebody to call him a liar after watching the heroism that took place and what it's done to him after too, emotionally, um, to me is inexcusable. So yeah, I love always hearing Tig talk because Tig is just Tig, and he will just say this is how it is, black and white, and he's not going to embellish. He's not going to go off on the rails, and he's just going to say this is what I saw and this is what I did. And you guys are going to hear it, and I know you're going to be just floored, and I'm still floored, and I was there. So yeah, it was amazing, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get into it, it's funny because we do talk a little bit about Colorado, you growing up in
Yeah.
Colorado, Tig still living in Colorado. And when I think of Colorado, I think of Ned because the greatest CBD on the market is grown right in Colorado from Ned.
Yep.
You can check out all of their awesome products, their mellow magnesium, their relief balm, their the
Well, you got
daily balm. The
the
daily
daily
balm is
bomb. Yep.
really just what you could use every day as topical on your body, especially during these winter months where your skin gets dry. So check them out. It's HELLONED.com/battleline, and you'll get a great deal as a first time customer going to helloned.com/battleline. And speaking of skin drying out in these winter months, my skin does not dry out as much anymore for sure because I use Hero Soap. I no longer use all of these, soaps on the market that
Yeah.
you get at CVS that are going to dry your skin out. And they just have the best scents ever. Like right now, I'm using the eucalyptus bar, and man, that is a great scent.
Dude,
I love that.
and
And they sent
and
us a bunch of new stuff. Is that
oh
what you're
yeah,
about to
dude.
say?
I tried the little bar, the soap bar. It's amazing, dude. It's the
Are you talking about the
woods.
shampoo
The
one, or
shampoo. I'm sorry. The
yeah,
shampoo. It looks like I call it soap because it looks like a
yeah,
a soap, a little round piece of soap, and it's the woods. awesome, dude. And it's gonna last for, I thought, man, this is no way this thing's gonna last. I just lather
It's strong.
and it just lathers up and it smells great. I was like, this is awesome stuff. Because I first lathered myself up with it. My wife's like, that's a shampoo. Did you read the package? Of course I didn't. I'm a guy. I don't read packages. But and then I use it, and that's my go-to now.
Yeah,
It's
same.
amazing. That's how come it took somebody this long to think about something that ingenious? It's amazing, and it smells great, man. Great stuff.
They're like revolutionizing
They are.
hygiene, and they've been
They are.
around the same time as we have because now they also have this solid cologne, which I've never
Yeah.
experienced, where you could just take a little bit of this solid cologne, put it on you, and
Yep.
it's the teak wood scent. And much like their soaps, I mean, it's a very manly scent. I feel like if any of these, if there are scents that females in our audience would like, they've got the aloe and all that. But if you're using the woods, you're using the teak wood cologne, I'm going to think you have higher testosterone than I do because there's some manly scents. No chemicals, dyes, or fragrances. No parabens that are found in common soaps that link to breast cancer and reproductive complications in men. And they have a focus on veteran charities. So we really appreciate if you guys check them out and support them. Let freedom clean. HeroSoapCompany.com. Use the promo code BattleLine for 10% off your entire order. You will not regret it. You're going to be like us. And the only thing I use now is Hero Soap. HeroSoapCompany.com. Offer code BattleLine for 10% off. Let's go.
From Kansas City to New York City, from planet Earth to extraterrestrial life in space, a podcast with no equal, engaged in unconventional warfare through your speakers and headphones. This is a show about embracing the suck, conquering your demons, and finding God in the face of adversity. Chris Tonto Peranto,
Switch is on, motherfucker, I'm gonna shoot you in the face.
Ian Scotto.
Ian and I have been dating for a long time.
You are now tuned into the Battle Line Podcast.
The Switch is on Battle Line Podcast, and this is actually a really highly anticipated guest.
Yeah.
Really, you guys all know who he is, but John Tiegen, Marine, firearms instructor, public speaker, security contractor, of course, Benghazi attack
I
survivor.
was gonna
and
say I was
co-author.
gonna call him a name too, but since we're within the first 10 minutes and I can't use an expletive or YouTube will ban us, I'll wait till we're in the 15-minute mark and then I'll put my 2 cents of what he actually is.
Also,
Well, actually,
co-author.
he's probably so old he just forgot what he was going to say. So
That's
he's-
true too.
Co-author of 13 Hours, of course. And if you're someone who's like new to the show, you might not know that Tig was ever on, although your episode people still listen back to.
Yeah.
Episode 22, way back in 2020. But it's great to finally be doing this. I'm sure we're gonna get into a ton of different stuff. The first thing I was just gonna say before Chris kind of takes over and was that from the last time we spoke, you got remarried, you ran for office. So it would be cool to just fill the audience in on what you've been up to the past 5 years.
Yeah.
definitely-
Even I want to know, dude. I mean, sir, I really want to hear about your life.
Well, that's
No, I'm
just I'm
serious.
bigger than you. That's why.
There you go. And I don't know how the hell the other episode did well anyway, Tig, because it sucked. He was awful. I thought he was terrible. I'm kidding. Bro. No, seriously. I'm with Ian, man. You've been through a lot of stuff the last. I mean, shit, 3-4
Yeah, I don't-
years. Yeah.
You
So
know, was I hit by the car already or no?
I don't think you had gotten hit by the car yet. So that's
I don't
even
remember
part of
that.
it as well. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's
please.
early pre 2020 then.
It was. No, it was. So,
No,
again,
so yeah, well, I guess so I was downtown Colorado Springs and organization I started UADF. Just kind of it's like a neighborhood watch on crack. Of course, the left wants to call us a militia and stuff like that. If you saw some of the members, you'd be like, yeah, this ain't no militia. know. Because again, to me, it was just like when 2020 was going around, like people are asking, how can we get organized? How can we get, if people need each other? So that's why I started it. And, there's so many damn militias out there, it's like, why start another one? So, anyways, so we were downtown. We were at the Stop the Steal rally, just pretty much to try to keep the peace between the two. So we don't just kind of like in boot camp when the DI's yelling at you, making fun of you, telling
Yeah.
the left does the same thing. They think they're DIs, they think they're affecting people, but just let them yell. Don't even talk to them. You're not going to change their mind. So we were there, but halfway through the whole thing, I ended up getting tagged by a car, which ended up tearing both my hips.
Was that intention? No, I didn't know that. No, hell no, I
No,
didn't know that.
it was pretty intentional. I mean, I was
It
standing
was,
right in the car, so
no. So were you standing in the way and they ran you over, or they just you weren't looking and they came and clipped you like a hit and run?
It was a hit and run, but it's what happened. So we're standing in the median, the light turned red, so I was getting ready to go up and speak here in like about a few minutes. Started walking in the car, just a bunch of agitators, pretty much what they
Yeah.
were. They're just doing U-turns. So they did a U-turn on a red light, and two of the other guys, they almost hit one of the other guys, but then people started yelling. I actually had my dog with me, and I turned and looked, what the hell, couple cuss words going on back and forth, and then they lurched at me, and that tagged my leg, my right leg. I
Ow.
freaking had my dog's leash, which actually had two hooks on both ends, smacked the hood, and then they launched again. I was able to get out of the front of the car, but then they
Dang.
smacked my leg again. That kind of, again, just
Wow.
interfered both my hips, took the leash, smashed the windshield a little bit. That's just kind of what happened. So I ended up having replace both hips. Well, not the whole hip, but just the joint.
Yeah,
Did they
yeah,
get
yeah.
arrested?
Oh no, they told the cops I pulled a gun on them and all this other crap, and
Holy shit.
nothing ever happened to them legally. Not a
Was
damn.
it was it in the media at all? I didn't catch it. I mean, not that I look at the media a ton, but I would have
I didn't
thought that
report it.
that our crowd, somebody within our crowd would have caught that.
No, it was. I mean, there was some video footage, but not really a whole lot. But I didn't really report it at all.
Sure.
Were you
According to the
concealed
cops and stuff
carrying
like
that
that.
he like made that up?
Oh no, I was carrying, but how can I pull my gun if I got a leash in both hands?
Well,
Yeah.
and yeah,
But there's
as
no,
much well, as much as people like to say that us that carry are the first ones that are going to pull a gun in any situation, that's like the last resort. We know that, so it's,
yeah, I wasn't gonna die.
yeah, yeah, and I wouldn't have pulled it either. I was like, no, I would. I'm faster than Tig, so I would have been able to get out of the way because he's slow. But other than that, I wouldn't, same thing. So and
You have
I
to
have.
remember to get out of the way first.
Oh yeah, that's true. And younger days. Well, you know,
So
after that happened, and that was 2020. I didn't know when you got remarried and what happened, but personal life, what took place, what's going on there, and how's the new wife, and how did you find another one that would tolerate you?
well, I married her before she got to know me. So that's
Yeah,
that's
that's the way you do. That's the trick. That's the trick, man.
no, I mean it was a long process. The divorce was
I, I'm sorry,
sleeping
man.
sleeping on
Yeah,
sleeping on friends' couch,
yeah.
bedrooms, stayed in a camper for a while, Airbnb, bounce around here and there, and um still was speaking, so it wasn't too bad. So got a nice couple nice hotels, throughout the
Sure,
years.
sure.
But then I actually when I was running for mayor is when I first met Priscilla, and
Okay.
she was stalking me. She doesn't want to say that, but we did an interview, and that's kind of how we met. Then she kept coming back to my work at DCF, and invited me out to lunch, and then kind of went
She,
that way.
she just finally broke the walls down because I know because you're such a hard man to get, right? You just play hard to get all the time. I remember that
Right?
too. Always hard to get. Yeah.
Definitely talk more now than I used to, but
Well, that's cool. When did that happen, man?
um, shoot, dude, I think I want to say it was like 2022, I believe, when I was
And
running,
okay, yeah, that's right. And it
or
worked.
2023. I think it was 2023. Yeah, it's
And
2023.
I can't remember. I thought it was 2022, but again, I can't remember what even I ate yesterday.
Yeah.
So, well, that's cool, man. With that, and I'm just glad you're happy, and you still got the good relationship with the twins and
Yeah.
and everything. As far as the father, nothing's been affected on that. I mean, I I know your ex. I haven't met your future ex. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Priscilla. I'm kidding. Um, but I do remember you always were and you always are a good father, and that was, and I think that came across very accurately in the movie with the little bit we put in. So I just was hoping that you didn't lose a relationship because with your kids because they're getting old. How old are they now? They're almost teenagers. Yeah, they are teenagers now.
So again, like people like, well, how old, how long has it been since Benghazi? All I gotta do is think, how old's my kids?
I know that's the same
So
thing.
it's
It's like,
kind of
damn.
easy.
And people don't realize that yeah, it's just like they were just born twins. They pictures I remember seeing, and now they're shit 13 years old. That's freaking. What are they doing, man? What are they? Are they following in Dad's footsteps? I know they used to shoot because we used to take pictures of them. Actually, they shot when I went out and visited at your house
Yeah,
that one
Jonathan
time I
still
came.
does. Vivian, not as much. She's into music and stuff like that. Jonathan, he's into the wrestling. I think he wants to get into boxing, but he wants to fly too. So he's getting some flying lessons. So
Wow.
It's
he might be an Air Force dude. We'll
well,
see.
he's there. They're still. Are they still in the? Can we say where they're at? I don't.
Yeah, we're
Is
still
it
in the
okay?
Springs.
In the Springs. All right. Oh, he's right there. Man, he's flying. He's only 13, and he's already
Well,
taken fly.
he's flown a helicopter, and I think he's flown a plane like 3 or 4 times now.
Jeez.
Wow,
Wow.
that's
That's
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah, that
I mean, so the
definitely.
helicopter, he wasn't like he was controlling the stick, but not the
Sure,
pedal.
sure. I
So,
mean, I mean,
but yeah,
just.
but still, I mean, hell, I never got to do that yet.
Oh man, I couldn't do that yet. I put a helicopter. I'll put that thing. Wouldn't even get off the ground. I'd flip it over right there. Just go and burst into flames.
The
Well,
funny, the funny thing is, the pilot, I mean, he's just hauling ass, and we're probably a good, I don't know, about 50 yards off the deck. And Jonathan's just like, go faster, faster, faster. And the pilot's like, I can't.
Dude, that just
This ain't
reminded
enough
me of
battery.
it reminded me of Ricky Bobby and his kids right there. It just reminded me all hopped up on Mountain Dew, going on like a spider monkey. That's serious. That just
Yep.
reminded me of that. That's hilarious.
I'm just in the back, just laughing my ass off. He's just like, go faster. He's all saying lower. He's like, I'm not going lower.
I wouldn't even have rid with my kids. Like, hell no, I'm not getting in there with y'all. You're crazy. That's guts right there. Uh,
Yeah. So, yeah,
still with
what's that?
No, I mean, still with yeah, that's good. I'm glad you're kids. I'm glad to hear that you still got a relationship with them. I would have hated to see that because that's what I remember you more than
Yeah.
anything. Besides just being a big douchebag, was that you were a great father, man, and I would have hated to see that because you are, man. In relationships, they come and they go and they work out. Some don't, some do, and that come. But being a father is always there. You don't want that to have an effect.
And it was 22 years. So, I mean, it
Yeah.
was.
It did last. Yeah, it did last. What's going on? Now I know you're still doing Spakin. You still got the you're still are you still going to stay with politics or was that it? I mean, and actually I do want to get how was that experience being in
Yeah.
it, not really on the
No,
outside.
I actually thought it was going to be a lot worse. I really did.
Really, really.
Yeah. I got attacked a little bit by the left, but it was just pretty much just over the stuff from UADF. Honestly, that was it. But I thought it was going to be a lot harder to actually run for mayor and stuff, being in that field because people always act like how hard and difficult it is. I actually thought it was fairly easy.
Yeah.
And I jumped in with 9 weeks left to go, so I had to really hit the turf, going. And I don't know, man. It was just more about, knowing exactly what's going on in the city, knowing all the political aspects of what bills doing what and stuff like that, what's being passed, what are the issues, water, roads, and all that crap, figuring out. And to me, honestly, I was just like, I don't understand how this is so damn difficult.
That's the whole thing, though, when you're talking about like knowing which bills are going on. I've never run for office, but I feel like just as an observer, it's like I think it's a lot more laborious of a job than people think because politics has become like the WWE. It's just people fighting on Twitter about shit. But like in reality, it's a lot of like legalese and paperwork and knowing why you're going to vote on this bill, what pork is in what bill, and it's probably a pretty boring job, quite honestly.
I mean, it kind of seemed like it would have been, because the biggest thing would have been the budget, honestly, but it's just management. It's just leadership is what it comes down to. As long as you already have that and you're willing to piss people off and actually fire people, kind of like what Trump's doing right now. I mean, you can get a pretty good program going, but I don't have the silver tongue like some of these other politicians. and people keep saying they want change, but yet they keep voting for the same bullshit.
Well, it is, man. You do have to be well spoken and use those big 5 cent words, even if
Mhm.
you don't know what they mean, and just use them in complete sentences, even though you may not know what the sentence means, and people are going to vote for you. And that, it does suck. You can't be a real person, in my opinion.
Yeah, you
And maybe it's going this way. You can't be a real person
can't.
and win an election, because if you are real, you're not going to use those 5 syllable words. Who uses those words unless you're in DC? You're
I
not going to.
actually think it's the opposite now, though, because you have a ton
But
of people in
and that's
office
why
that
maybe
like
it's going
barely
that
even
way.
got out of
Yeah.
high school, and I'm just like, how did these people win? I mean, like truthfully, in your state, like you may be a fan of her politics, but like Lauren Boebert is not who you would expect to be a congresswoman. Like she
Well,
has
I
like
don't
a
got big food.
GED.
Well,
I can't run off looks.
That's true. She is
that's
hot.
the truth hurts, man. I
I'm
mean,
just, yeah.
you use what you got.
Looks help a lot when you're. I mean, it's true. It looks help a lot.
I also feel like for you
Yes.
though, because you have this job of like contractor with the CIA, Blackwater, Marine, kicking down doors. And I feel like going from that to reading bills, it's a step down in terms of like the excitement of the job, like a big step down.
I'm good with excitement. I'm good with that now. I'm all right. But to me, again, it's just like, saving the future for your kids. So you kind of have to do the suffering so they don't have to. That was my theory, and that still is. That's why, with what's going on now with Trump, them finding all these cuts, if our prices and we have to suffer for a few extra years or decades, at least our kids don't. So I really don't care.
Well,
You know, they're,
and
they're stamping out, finding all this fraud, waste, and abuse, which is going to be more beneficial to us in the long run because hopefully, again, taxes should get cut. I mean, they find $1 trillion freaking dollars of fraud, waste, and abuse. Obviously, we're overpaying in taxes.
well, they're finding it real easy, and that's
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's even just a shame is how easy it is in a 12-hour span to find how much money that's been wasted. And I can tell you just because I have been my day job now is I actually manage a bunch of insurance adjusters. I went right back to doing what you guys used to make fun of me for when I would do it on my off time. And but I've seen it with FEMA and the NFIP because I've been in the middle of it since those hurricanes. And it's not that they're doing paying the insurance is paying people out, not that they shouldn't. There's too many people that aren't doing the work. There's too many workers that they're paying their salaries that are worthless, or
Mhm.
they're wasting money on programs or things that they're telling us to do. It's manpower as well. That's not worth it. It's just a waste of time. And
Yep.
that's what I'm hoping, with FEMA that they come in there and they actually start cutting FEMA as well, not just USAID and the Department of State and so forth. You live in a state though that is that's why I left. One of the big reasons that is extremely left. How is it? I always ask everybody when I go back to Colorado, how is it that it's still like that? Because the majority of the people, once you get outside the city,
Yeah.
pretty conservative, man. What is not changing there? What's going on?
Denver. It's Denver and Boulder, man.
But it's the
Well,
same as every state.
But
I mean, it's
they
the
hold
same
the
as my
population.
state. It's
They
the
definitely.
populated areas are all going to be the cities.
So the only way you'd actually be able to change that is everything kind of went to electoral college kind of vote.
well,
That'd be the only way because I mean, the county wise, we outnumber them
you
big.
do, yeah,
But
yeah.
again, it's just they have more bodies and more stupid people that believe they're bull crap. Because we had a guy doing he went down to the anti-Trump rally on Monday, the President's Day thing, and asking them all kind of, I mean, a lot of people on this side kind of know it, how just dumb they are when they ask them questions like, what makes Trump racist? And the only thing they can say, they can never give you one exact detail. Or like, how is he violating the Constitution? They can never give you one exact. They just say, "Oh, I don't even know where to. I can't even. There's just so much. I can't even. I don't know where to start." That's
It's
really
the
how.
it's
Just
the
like,
ambiguous, yeah, yeah.
It's
no,
the
they
same as
we
every
go
state,
after.
though. Even if you look at like the
That's what I'm
electoral
saying.
map of California or the electoral map of New York, it's the exact same thing. It's just, yeah, cities are more populated.
I figured eventually Colorado, just because of its size and because the counties are already, my family's still in Grand Junction. They're still out there in Mesa County. that people would get tired of the crime. They get tired of, I mean, I remember going and doing a speaking event there in Boulder. I had to ask them at Target to unlock toothpaste because they were
Right?
stealing it. They have it locked up. Like, are
Yeah,
you
it's like
kidding
that in the
me?
cities
Like,
here. Yeah.
well, I know, and that's I finding out, man. But I was like, people,
I'm waiting to start
why
going
do you
into.
tolerate this? What the hell are you? What has to be done? Do people have to be murdered on their doorsteps to get it
Well, that
changed? Because
happens too. Look at look
I
at the look at the Venezuelan gang taking over two apartment buildings. Like, oh, it's just two apartment buildings.
it's just too
What?
apartment. Yeah, I
If it's one house or one apartment, not
yeah,
a
yeah,
building.
yeah, the
That's way
building.
too much. But yeah, that's their mindset. Oh, it's just two. It's just 3 blocks. It's not a big deal.
So
So
are you speaking? Are you doing more political speeches, like speaking for more conservative groups, or are you just out
oh,
there?
I'm just
How?
still doing the same old thing. Like I'm supposed to be going out here. Is it this month? No, next month I'm going out to California for a sheriff's thing. So
Oh, cool. Yeah,
Nice.
I mean,
And you're
I'm
still
not
doing
doing them as much because I'm working for DCF Guns and the firearms instructor. So I turned down more than I picked up, but I still do them here and there and stuff like that. So because yeah, I just got traveling, man. I just kind of get tired of it.
I was going to ask you that because I'm the same way. Has that? It's worn on me where I don't. I do 10 a year. That's it. I don't want to travel. It wears me out. I don't like. I get. I don't say stressed out. I just get angry even going to the airport. I don't want to be at the airport. Do you feel the same? Has it gotten that way for you through
Well,
over the
right now
years
I
as
don't want to
well?
fly because everything's fucking
Well,
crashing.
no, that's the
it's
same.
the same thing Chris said. Yeah.
Same thing with me. I'll tell you the same thing. I hate flying. There's no
Hey,
way in hell I'm going now. Everything's flying out of the sky. But
oh boy, am I gonna make it? Like before, I was
uh,
like never afraid of flying. Actually, I'm kind of nervous, man.
it's the weirdest thing. I can't. It's such a coincidence. Holly said the same thing about flying. Man, I'm
Millions of
at and I was
miles
like,
flying, and now I'm like, oh wait a second, this is getting real.
so yeah. So you are feeling the same then, man. You're just
Yeah,
like, man, I don't want to. I just want to be out with what I have to, but not like. Remember, we were out 80 times a year. We're out there
I
doing
know.
stuff, and it's there's just no way to do it. I'm glad you're not. I wasn't the only one that was feeling like that.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm tired of it. But it is nice. But I don't know. As for the political side, there's still things that I got in the works. Get kind of on the mindset, maybe run for sheriff. So we'll see. Kind of see
That
what
would.
happens.
Do you have to
Nice.
go to the academy? Or do you have to go get your
Yeah,
piece of cake, man? You
yeah.
have to just
So
actually. That is something I could see you doing. I could see you being a mayor, dude. I just can't see Tig. It's like there's no way in hell I can't see that ugly son of a bitch being up there. But a sheriff, yeah, I could vote for that. Yeah, I
we'll see
could.
what happens. The wife, she's thinking about going into the political side too. So we both might be running at the same time.
Wow.
What's she thinking about doing? Which part of the politics is she thinking about
Uh,
getting into?
Representative.
Wow.
So
I mean, you do fit that mold now, man. You
yeah.
really do. The mold that people are looking for. I think that would be a great idea for you. And again, as long as it's in Colorado, stay out of Kansas, I'm good. But but
It's an interesting thing though, because there's been like a number of special ops guys and contractors who have become congressmen.
yeah,
And it's like some have been good, some have not been good, in my opinion. Like I see the stuff we were talking about actually in a recent episode, the one that people got all mad because I did the clickbaity Trump headline. But people the stuff Morgan Luttrell is doing is pretty cool. But then I look at a guy like Dan Crenshaw, who just seems to be doing a whole lot of insider illegal trading. And it's like, this is probably not what we need. And I don't care that he's a Navy SEAL because, and then I remember he went on that guy John Burke's podcast we had on, and he was like, well, if we can't trade stocks, then how do you expect us to make enough money? And it's like, dude, really?
Oh
it,
wow.
yeah. What's your opinion on that, man? On veterans, more veterans getting into Congress, and I feel the same way Ian does. I mean, we have the same sort of mindset and views on that.
As long as they can actually stay to their values and not get sucked into the system, I think it'll be good. But again, just kind of like people like Crenshaw, where money comes to the priority versus
Yeah.
why they went in. That's where I think a lot of the failure happens in our government. They just get sucked into the system because they don't know how to stand back and actually stand their ground. I think that's why Trump can do what he is doing because he has he doesn't need no money.
You
So
can't bribe him with money
So
because he's got money.
Although I will push back on that a little, if you see what he did with Trump coin, I think is very similar to insider trading.
Now, wait, now he's got money again. Now he's got.
But he made billions
but again,
allegedly off of Trump
that's his own
coin.
stuff, though. Also, so he's.
Yeah, but it is very much a pump and dump
I mean, I
scheme.
don't know what he did, but
Yeah, it's
kind of like he has his own Bible, he has his own shoes, he has.
that's a little different though. This Trump coin is a little bit more of like a pump and dump scheme. I'm a big Bitcoin guy, but when I see that, I'm like, you're kind of doing the same crap Nancy Pelosi is doing, but with crypto.
And we both voted for Trump. I mean, all
Yeah.
three of us obviously we do it,
Yeah.
but it is.
But I don't care about criticizing that. You know, it's funny, man. Like I look at when I did the Trump headline, always go, "Oh, I'm going to unfollow you," and then I go on Instagram and I literally had a message that like you and I are repeating white supremacist talking points. So I'm always like, if we're pissing off the left and the right, I feel happy. I feel I'm doing something right. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have no problem criticizing him because I do think he's kind of doing the same stuff. If you look into Trump coin, doesn't mean he's not doing great things with Doge and all, but like. Yeah. Is he doing everything great? No, there's a handful of things that I've been very critical of personally.
Well, that's again, you shouldn't just kiss his ass. Like I think too many people do just kiss his ass and he can't fail. It's like
I saw you criticized that tweet where he said that thing where he was like, he who tries to save the country doesn't break any laws, and it's like, no, doesn't work that way.
That's what I said. Yeah, bullshit, and I went off a little bit. Yeah, because again, just like he put another tweet out saying "Long live the king."
I sort of feel like he did that to troll, though.
Exactly. So I didn't comment. I thought it was kind of funny.
It was funny because you know why it was funny? Because I'm here in New York where that whole thing is going on, where he got rid of the congestion pricing, and then Kathy Hochul, our governor, comes out there and she's like, "We don't back down from a fight here in New York." It's like, you really think we're gonna fight for congestion pricing? Like, I think everybody's kind of happy that Trump ruled that we're not gonna have this.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like the king of trolling, dude. He really is the king of trolling.
Did you find yourself, or did people try to suck you into that? Hey, go along this route, or we're not going to back you. We're not going to fund you. When I was asked to run for Congress in Nebraska, I was asked to go have a certain way so the Koch brothers would, if I wanted to campaign, they were going to back the campaign. And I said, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna say use your talking points just to get money. And I guess we're in that realm because people sell out themselves and their values.
Yeah. No, because by the time I had jumped in, all the big buyers pretty much already bought their candidate anyways.
Gotcha.
The builders hadn't yet, but when I talked with them, they didn't like what I had to say, so they definitely weren't picking me.
That's good. Well, I mean, that's because but that's how you have to do it. They did like
I told them exactly. I wasn't because to me, again, all these builders making so much damn money, and they're growing the community so fast that our infrastructure can't keep up. And I'm like, these builders, they need to be responsible for like building, getting our police departments, our fire departments, and our hospitals. They're going to be making all this money. They need to help build that infrastructure within. Yeah. But they didn't like that because obviously that's money out of their pocket. I didn't care.
Well, but you're right. And when you go to Colorado, I was in Castle Rock doing a bottle signing a couple months ago, and it's not Castle Rock, man. I was like, this used to just be the rock, with the flat, and that was it. And now it's commerce everywhere. And this isn't Colorado. It is crappy apartments, crappy
going up all over the place around here.
Man, that's just nuts. Well, I'm glad
trying to drive down house pricing. That's not driving anything down. You're driving up crime is what you're doing.
Yeah. More people, more crime because there's more gas stations, more liquor stores, more seedy hotels. It's kind of sad, man. Because but it also reminded me, well, this is why I left. This is why I don't want to be here. Because I just remember it being from Colorado Springs to Denver. I remember back growing up, it was just nothing. It was beautiful.
Yep.
That road, and you got Castle Rock, and you had the flag up there, and that was it. And now there's
this little section of Larkspur where you kind of, just died down a little bit, but dude, now it sucks. It's horrible, man. Congestion's just getting really bad. Colorado Springs is almost like driving through Denver now. It's how bad it is.
That's man, I can't even. Keep me away from it. I thought you were another thing. I thought you were moving, or I thought you were getting out of there and moving to the Tornado Alley, man. No,
the wife's got a house over that way, but
But well, you got your kids. You can't leave your
I'm still
kids.
here at least till they're 18 at least, so I got
Yeah.
time.
No, that's cool. Yeah.
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 I
And
want to
Colorado, I mean, the politics of it sucks. But probably the mountains is more where I'll go, not really the plains where tornadoes can kill you.
yeah.
we do have our tornadoes, man.
Hey guys, hope you're enjoying this interview with John Tig Tiegen. It's been a long time coming since we get him on. We had him on in 2020, but it's been 5 years, man. Time flies. So, as you're enjoying this, I am interrupting just to tell you that you got to check out the best ammo on the market. Fort Scott Munitions is a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass CNC spun ammunition. It's designed to tumble upon impact in soft tissue, leaving devastating wound channels for faster bleed out and quicker incapacitation. This ammo was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standard of military grade ammunition design. It was found that not only did the TUI ammunition outperform competitors in the self-defense industry, but it quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. With the ammo being CNC spun, the tolerances are some of the tightest on the market, ensuring that you receive the same results with each pull of the trigger. And yeah, you got to get Tig out there to Kansas to
Yeah.
shoot with some Fort Scott munitions.
I need to host him and have him teach a course. That's be
Yeah.
and I'm going to work on that. And then we'll get him out of a course. We'll be shooting Fort Scott munitions, ammunition. And believe me, if I could get Tig out here, when I do, Ryan Kraft and Robbie will be having kittens to have any of them. I mean, I would love to have him, Boone, and Oz all out here to teach a
That
course.
would be
And yeah,
huge.
I guarantee you, Ryan would crap himself. Ryan, you would. You would.
You'd have
And,
to have multiple courses because you couldn't fit the demand for that.
no, it'd have to be at different times or doing like a week long thing. And then, like I said, have the movie because I can rent the theater out and have the movie and just have a meet and greet with it. But it's up to the guys, but they're always welcome out here. And I think it's one of those things with Tig, it'd probably be pretty easy to do since he's only in Colorado and he could come down and since he's still teaching, it'd be easy to run a course and having my own range, or I should say it's Fort Scott Munitions range and them allowing me to use it. No red tape. Just let's go shoot, man.
FSM.com. Use the promo code BattleLine for 15% off your order. Only available to listeners of the BattleLine podcast. FSM.com. Promo code BattleLine. And since we mentioned it, we don't mention it often enough. I mean, if you're interested in upcoming courses, check out TontosGearLocker.com or BattleLineTactical.com.
Battleline Tactical, but it's all right there. It's all linked, and I've sold out my 2 courses already that I have at the end of I believe May and June. So I'll be getting a few more up, and then I'm working with Daniel Lombard there at Devad Defense to get one up in Chicago this summer if we can get it worked out. But I'll definitely have some more courses going up on my website here for Kansas this summer and then late fall. So just be ready. We'll get them out there. But of course, if you sign up for emails, you'll get the email blast. You'll get to be the first alert. And they do sell. I mean, those classes, that's 30 slots and they're already sold out. And I've had it up for a month. So yeah, check them out, guys.
Yep. Keep your eye on the pages. And with that, we'll get right back to our interview with Tig. I wanted to get it, of course, into like the main stuff that we're going to talk about. But I think I asked you this the first time you were on, and I was mentioning it before we started recording. So I met Chris when 13 Hours the book came out, when he was doing publicity with like Wilcow and Fox News and all that.
Grinder?
What's up?
He said I was doing publicity with Grinder. That's where
Okay.
I mean, well, Tig was surfing for me, and he saw it on there. I mean,
I still don't even remember if you were there when he was doing all the press. Like, I know that was it you and Oz? Because I've asked you this before, but so you never came into like Sirius XM or any of that, did you?
We did some together, didn't we? I thought we all three did, or maybe it was me and Oz. They would split us, but yeah. I'm sorry, I don't mean to answer for
A lot
Tig.
of things together, but I don't remember.
I may have at some point, but I still don't know if I've ever met you in person. But it's cool to be doing this. But anyway, I mean, I think one of the main one of the like elephant in the room reasons that we wanted to get into this, and I know that you guys are now talking again, as Chris has said, because of kind of these attacks that have come out, and you've been very vocal about these guys from Delta going on the Sunday podcast and basically calling you a liar, calling Sarah Adams a liar, Chris, Oz, all those guys.
Pretty much everybody.
I think they've actually got their pee-pee spanked a little bit though. I haven't seen much. I mean, but I'm not on it a bunch.
Well,
Um,
I mean the douchebag. What's I don't know from that one the main outlet where I initially saw it. Again, I was just up. I saw it on Fox. I was like, what the hell is this about? You know, the lie about Benghazi about we are lying and
Yeah,
stuff.
that the guy who wrote that
Kind of
headline.
led me
Yeah.
to it. And again, they I guess he must be butt buddies with all these Delta Force guys and all this stuff because obviously when I started going out, supposedly all these dudes came out. It's like I'm
um,
because I did I do? I tweeted out their own ethos at them about being being no
yeah.
pretty much burn down your other brothers and so they all came at me saying, well, you're SF. Should be like, dude, I wasn't FS. If you were smart enough, you'd realize I was quoting it to them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyways, they all kind of came out of the woodworks, and then they kind of went at the same time that when because he already had a story, but when the podcast when the following Thursday when that podcast did it, they said this is our final words about this. Immediately after that podcast was over, he did the same thing. So it's kind of like, yeah, okay, guys, but I don't know, maybe it's because I don't know because there's so much the Benghazi report is thousands of pages, and dude, I was
Well,
reading everything.
and people need to realize the Democrats had their own select committee to try to dispute what we were saying, and that's where they were getting the D Boy's testimony, and that's pulled some of it's pulled from part of his citation was from the Democratic Benghazi Select Committee run by Adam Schiff, and I don't know if a lot of those Delta guys realize that the stuff they're quoting is actually from the leftist committee that was put in place. And Sarah was on it. That's the thing is Sarah was on that committee until she's like, this committee's bullshit. And she went over to Trey's committee. But uh, that's what was funny to me is I'm looking at this going, all right, you guys are quoting all this verbiage from people that you actually totally don't like. You're the progressive movement that was trying to smash us, and your buddy was one of those focal points on that committee to try to dispute what we were saying, and that was where I found it was funny. But what I wanted to get in, but and if you can talk about it, and I get it if it's hard. I'm with you. I still talk about it. I don't want I just want to know what happened. I know what happened from my point of view. I think the best way to do this, if you're willing to talk about, is just that time from right before the mortars hit and what you did, because that is the best case that we have this to show these motherfuckers
Yeah.
that hey, this is what happened. And I still have a picture of Oz getting loaded on the plane because I said, yeah, I remember when he got in C-17, he was got on there before we flew him back to Tripoli. And I was giving him shit. I go, "Hey, motherfucker, stop sandbagging and get up." And he's all his arms about, and he goes like this to me, and he's in the. And I'm gonna post that one of these days, but because they said we weren't on the roof, and I'll do something to
Oh
tie
yeah, I
that in.
know.
But can you just right before the mortars hit? Can you go tell and then just tell everybody what you did? Can you talk? Are you okay talking about it, man?
Hmm?
And everybody what you did until they dropped the guys off the roof,
Yeah.
dropped
So
Tyrone and Bub off the roof disrespectfully.
yeah, so I remember. So we're there. We heard the guys. They came in. I was on the Tower 3. Oz, he'd actually left, packed up his stuff, and he was up on the building 3 with Roan and Dave Ubin at the time.
Yep.
And I remember you like going, "Hey, we gonna get any relief?"
Yeah, remember I'd take a shit. I
Yeah.
was calling him. I'm like, guys, I need to take a shit. Can somebody come relieve us? Thank you. All
It's
right.
kind of like I was thinking the same thing. When you sit in those towers, that tower is very uncomfortable. You couldn't like
Yeah.
stand up and you couldn't squat because if you because or sit because if you sat you couldn't see over the damn thing. So
Yeah.
it's just whoever I think it was actually Wyatt that designed those damn things for us. He just screwed but his height was perfect for it.
Well, Doc, yeah, Doc, why I didn't know that, but that makes sense. Yeah, that makes perfect sense if Doc White did. Like, for those that would
And
know Doc
freaking
White, they'll laugh. They'll laugh. It'll be hilarious. But yeah,
But anyways, so I remember we were just kind of and it's just quiet. It was fairly freaking quiet. And then you heard it. You heard the thump of a mortar.
I did.
You
Yeah.
get on the radio, like I was getting ready to key, say, "Hey, I think I just heard," but you got on, you asked, and I said, "Yeah, I heard." And then that's when the first round hit. And then small arms fire opens up. I'm kind of just sitting there trying to watch Zombie Land, and heard another thump.
Just so everybody knows, you're down on the ground, or you're in building.
I'm
You're
in
in
the
the.
tower still.
You haven't got out of the tower yet. Okay,
I'm
so
still in the
Tower
tower.
Three. If for those that watch the movie, I just want to paint a picture. For those that watch the movie, Tower Three is where Oz and Tig were during the first two attacks on our compound. And so they're over in that corner. Just so everybody knows, I just want people to know this because this is important.
So, well, according to, well, should I wait till to bring up the Delta Force's
Yeah,
testimony?
don't worry about. I just want to know
Okay.
what you
Okay.
did. We don't even know
So
need it
one
because
one
they didn't
hit,
do anything.
and then the second one came in and it hit. So the first one hit behind the wall, probably about 25 yards. I'll say west of building three, about 25 yards north of the wall. So it was fairly close. The second one hit right on top of the wall, kind of then I heard another one, but from my point of view, I thought they're trying to take out my tower because
Gotcha.
it kept coming from that direction. So that's why I jumped out of the tower and started moving back. Otherwise, I'd have been still in the tower. So when I got towards the gym and I'm trying to pay attention to the sound just in case the tower got hit, my back's kind of this way. I'm kind of trying to listen, see if I hear any gunfire from that way. And then the round hits the top of the roof and everything goes quiet. So I start walking towards the building. I'm not really running it because I still got the tower to worry about in that segment. I know you guys, again, I didn't realize that for some reason I forgot you actually moved to building
I
one.
building A. I
But
built right the front. I had the front gate.
I still
Boone
knew
was still on B. Yeah.
still had watch over there, but still it's still my section. So I'm not really running. So I get on the radio and said, "Hey guys, I'm building three. You all right?" Team leader gets on the radio and says, "No, we're all right in here." And I tell him to shut the hell up.
That was country TL, not douchebag,
Oh,
not our.
I don't know who
Okay.
it was, but I thought I
I'm
thought it was our RTL.
okay.
But anyways, I get on, I tell him to shut the hell up. I'm talking about the guys on building three, and that's when Jack gets on the radio. I say, "Hey Tig, there's no movement," and that's when I ran. So I ran over there, started going up the ladder. Once I knew I was about to clear the top of the wall, I slowed down, and so I slowly started peeking up over because we're getting attacked from that direction. Once I didn't see anybody coming, I hurried up and skiddied up like a cockroach. So I get shot in the back, jumped over. First guy I saw was Dave Ubin. Got two tourniquets on. Well, actually, saw him, looked across the roof, saw people down, get on the radio and said, "Hey, I got guys down. I need help."
Remember.
Really short, really sweet. Immediately got two tourniquets on Dave Ubin, got on the radio, said the same thing, moved across the roof. One guy was pretty much in the middle. The other guy was kind of not really in the middle, but more towards the now my directions west wall, and in a fetal position. But then I saw another guy, which is going to be in Oz. Got on the radio. No, yeah, got on the radio again. Said, "Hey, I got guys down. I need help." That's the third time I asked. Got the tourniquet, put it on Oz, and that's when Boone came on the radio and said, "Hey, if nobody's gonna get up on the roof and help, I'm getting off this damn roof
I
myself."
remember that. Yeah, I remember that because I remember him here saying, "Yeah, go ahead, man. I'm
That's
sorry."
when whoever, again, I thought it was RTL, got on the radio and said, "Hey, don't no, stay where you are. We're on our way." And my thing always is like, "You're on your way." You should be like, "We're coming up."
I know they'll
No,
keep everybody just keep in mind this has not been 30 seconds. This has now
no,
been
it's been a
between
few minutes.
3 to 5 minutes because I remember getting on the radio and telling Boone to hold when he said that because I said you got better fighting, you got better fields of fire. I'll go, and that's when whoever that TL came across. And that was been like I said close to
Because
five
again, it
minutes.
took me time because it took me. I had to because I had Oz's go bag because my go bag was left in the vehicle over at the consulate. Um, so I had to find two tourniquets. So it took me time to find the two tourniquets, talking with the guy, put that one on again, and then going over to Oz doing the kind of same thing. So yeah, it took some time. Then I got Oz up and he started walking, and the guy still went up on the roof. That's when I went over to Roan and rolled him over. During the time when I was looking over Roan is when the first guy actually, I think, came up, which was the Delta Force guy. So he did a pulse check. I felt his throat move, didn't feel a pulse. Lift up his body armor, did look, listen, feel, didn't see or feel anything. So you putting your so if you don't know what look, listen, feel is, I'm putting my ear down towards their mouth and I'm lifting up their shirt, just try to look down their belly, trying to feel or hear a breath and see if their stomach moves. Couldn't feel or hear anything, couldn't see anything. Then I did a pupil dilation. There was no dilation. So for me, I mean, I'm not a medical doctor, but usually that means they're dead.
We've been through enough. We've been enough combat lifesaver, first responders crap. Yeah, we know that. Yep.
So I get on the radio and I inform everybody, "Hey, Roan's gone." It's kind of where I left it.
I
Immediately
remember.
went over to the fourth individual, rolled him over. That ended up being Glenn Doherty or Bub. Did the same thing with him, and pretty much, while I remember I just thought it was so weird. Like when I was when I was looking over him, all I could hear in the background, "We need to get off the roof. It's too dangerous. We need to get off the roof." I don't know who was saying it,
It
but
wasn't us. It wasn't any
well, I know,
GRS
but
guys.
well, I don't know. It's whoever was like close to, obviously to me. It wasn't on the radio. It was just the
Well,
guy.
then it was one of the D boys because those are the only two guys that came up, and yeah, it had to be because there's nobody,
No,
nobody else.
the country team leader came up. He
Okay,
did come up because I
okay.
ended because after that I ended up grabbing everybody's guns and picking up their stuff, and I ended up grabbing his.
Oh no,
Because
I'm
I ended up
talking.
grabbing everybody's. I didn't realize he put his gun down. I didn't know. I just saw loose guns and I picked them up and stuff. So I got down, dumped everything off, and I thought I grabbed my rifle, but ended up being his rifle. So, anyways, so I went in the back. I actually tried to open up the back door because they're still trying to get Dave Ubin off the roof.
So you'd already come down. You'd come down, and you're off the roof now.
No,
Okay.
Dave Ubin was like I think he was down already when I came down, and they were waiting for a stretcher. So when I went in to go and get more tourniquets because of the mortars, I actually tried to open the back doors to bring them through the back, so they didn't have to bring him through all the front of the case officers. But I was able to lift it just a little bit, which actually listening to the testimony kind of was in my favor now, but especially with the D-boy guys. Then I started walking back out to go back to Tower 3, and that's when I ran into the two Delta Force guys. Again, I didn't know who the hell. I thought they're just GRS guys I didn't know they're Delta Force guys at
Well,
all.
I didn't know either. Yeah,
And they're like, "Hey, where are you going?" So I'm going back over to Tower 3 to provide, for security. Like, "Oh no, you can't do that. It's too dangerous." I'm like, "What the fuck you talking?"
I know we've been fighting all night. We've been too
I'm
much,
like,
and they're trying to tell us that was
so
what I thought was comical. It's like they're trying to tell us and direct how the fight's going. Like, dude, you guys just you haven't got here for more than 60 minutes. Now you're trying to tell us what we need to
I
do.
don't think it's been 20 minutes since they've been there by this
Yeah,
point.
it's it.
So I'm having a yelling match with these two guys because again, I don't know who they are, and I just keep on walking. They actually ran and got the fucking country TL to come tell me to stop. So country TL comes up and says, "No, don't go over there." So I'm where the generator is,
I
and
know.
like provide security here, and I'm looking like, what the fuck does this do?
Yeah.
I guess I'll just wait for the bombs to go off. Maybe a hole come in the wall, be able to shoot through the wall now. I don't know.
I,
So so we're sitting there, and obviously then we get word that about the big militia coming.
yeah. I remember. I
Um,
remember. I remember.
right.
I remember shitting my pants when I saw him try to make the corner. I'm like, holy crap! There's no
I
way
think
I'm gonna
this
be able
was
to stop these guys.
I think this is about 7:30 in the morning now. So the
Yeah.
guy's been up there for a few hours.
Uh, thank you. So just so everybody knows, I know the movie cuts real quick, but it had been an hour, 2 hours since we had been mortared. So there was a lot, nothing had been going on, everybody. Just painting
Okay.
this picture here so
I said,
everybody
"Well,
understands why we were so angry at what and why we are still angry at what's being said. But go
yeah.
ahead, man.
So the two guys again, I'm just thinking they're GRS guys. They come walking up, say, "Hey, come provide security for us. We're gonna get the guys down." So I'm like, okay, we got a tire strap that we use to pull the tire around. We can get that and we can lower the guys down.
The toe straps. Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's pretty, yeah, toe strap. And they're like, nah, don't worry about it. We got this. So I'm like, okay, I'm thinking they're going to do the same thing that they did with Dave Ubin, just kind of build a backpack and get him down. Like, okay, So I go around with them. I start going up the ladder. Like, no, what are you doing? It's like, I'm going to go up provide security for you. Like, no, just wait down here.
Yep.
Right.
Guy, everybody keep in mind, we've got 8 foot high block walls all around our compound. So there's all he's pulling security on is a piece of stucco.
I think they're higher than 8. I think they're like 10 or 12.
They're taller than me, but I am a short Mexican, so I bet that's
I don't
not
think I can even jump and touch the top.
no.
So, so I'm just like, again, I'm like, this is about freaking dumb. So I'm facing. So if I'm facing this way, that's where Tower 3 is, and the ladder's like directly right here on my side. And I'm just like down here, like this is in my mind, like this is freaking stupid. Next thing you know, I'm gonna kind of sitting there out of the corner of my eye, I can see something going on. So I kind of look up, and they put a body on top of the ledge right next to the ladder and push him off.
Yeah,
Uh,
was that Roan or
that
Bub
was
first?
that was Bub.
That was Bub. Okay.
So
Yeah,
I'm
because you said Tyrone was dead by this point, right?
They both are dead.
they were both dead.
These are
Okay.
when they're dropping the bodies
Got you.
off.
Got you.
Yeah.
So they pushed him off, and I'm just like, holy shit. So, he's kind of smacks. He hits the bushes. You kind of see it slices his
Yeah,
gut open.
I remember.
Like shit doesn't just like flow out, but it was just like, holy shit. And I just, in my mind, I'm thinking this is going to be even worse. And now I know what's happened to the next guy. The first one was a shock. The second one, you're just like, you're everything's just tuned in now. And I'm like just squatting down, like trying not to just hear it. And they put him up, push him off, and smack, same thing. Um, obviously you're pretty pissed off, but nothing you can do about it now. And I get what people say. They're dead. It doesn't matter. Let's get them off the roof.
Holy
Let's
crap! No way.
But
Whoever says that can eat a dick.
my
That's
thing is,
wow.
okay, that's fine if we're under fire and we have to get the freaking hell out of there.
Yeah.
We gotta go. We got to dude. We had plenty of time. We had a militia of 300 freaking dudes coming with gun trucks and all kinds of crap.
Yeah.
We had time to lower these guys off because
And
we still didn't leave for like another 45 minutes.
and like I said, this had been a 2 hour lull that nothing had happened at
Nothing's going
least.
on.
Do you think, man, they didn't want you to come? They said pull security here just so because that was their plan, and they didn't want you trying to stop them. Because I
Probably.
knew you would have been up the roof. Any one of us, if we would have saw them do it while we were up on the roof, would have stopped it. Is
Yeah.
that? Do you think they had their mindset that was intentional? They already thought that, and we're like, we
Yep.
cannot, we're not, and that's
I really do. And again,
yeah.
that first one, I was just like, holy, I can't believe it. You're still trying to process it. It's like, holy shit, they just did this. Because like firefighters, a prime example, man. They've never thrown one of their buddies out there. They'll freaking go through hell to get them out of a burning building respectfully. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, we would never have done that. And I'll tell you right now, we would never have done that to one of their guys.
Would've. I
No,
mean, I would try to lower them down as best I could, and then kind of, let go. But I'm not just gonna freaking shove them off a roof
yeah.
like that.
What do you think? And I have my own feelings, but and I know I've asked you behind closed doors. I've even asked you in Germany when you told me this because I remember I was talking about it. But why do you think? Why do you think they did it? And then also, why do you think they're trying to say that it didn't happen, and to also say that we were never on the roof, that we didn't do anything? What's your
Yeah,
feeling, man?
I think honestly, maybe they were scared. They just wanted to hurry up and get off the roof because they were just. Because my thing, I mean, the mortars would have kept coming in. There ain't a damn thing could have done anyways.
No, and they would have kept coming. If they would have gone to mortars, they would have kept just hammering us
Yeah,
until we
I
were
mean,
rubble.
I was surprised the building was even standing.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Um, I mean that's the only thing I can think of is just they were just because again when I was up there with them, they're like, it's too dangerous. We got to get off. We got to get off. I'm like, I mean, again in my mind, I'm like, dude, if the mortars keep coming, it ain't gonna fucking matter.
Well, and at that point in time, it's like if this is the most dangerous time, all right, guys,
Yeah.
we've been through 8 hours of danger. This is not dangerous. We got Snickers and we got Powerade and lawn chairs. This is actually the most comfortable time that
Yeah.
we've had. And that putting in perspective, guys, it wasn't comfortable. Of course, it was dangerous, but for us, it was. Hey, man,
But
another hour. Let's get
I
through
mean,
it.
I hate incoming fire. That's like the worst freaking thing ever in my mind. I
Yeah.
hate it.
Well, you can't do anything. There's no
No,
way to fight it,
no,
and
where it's
that's
coming from, you can't.
yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's
Well, you know, and thank you for talking about it. And I know because that's important. That is, and it's not even a defense. We have nothing to defend. We did
no, I
what
have
we
no
did.
reason to lie.
So but they have everything if they're trying to defend or whatever they're trying, whatever reason they're doing it. But my question then is now, why do you think they're doing it? Why do you think this is coming out now? It's been how many years, and it's coming out from people that we would have stood side by side with,
Yep.
fighting against against who we were fighting that night.
Well, what really pissed me off about it was them not even trying to reach out and saying,
Yeah,
"Hey, this is what we heard." No, they automatically came out and said we were lying.
that's what I was going to
I think
ask
they
you. Did anybody
allegedly
reach?
said they
Oh,
reached
shit,
out to
that really
Oz or
pissed me off.
something. Or Boone, I'm
No,
sorry.
Boone reached out to them,
Boone
but they
reached out
Yeah,
to
yeah,
them.
yeah,
back.
yeah.
They said, "Oh, they've actually laughed about it," and then later in their little tweeter thing said, "Oh, you guys tried to reach out and kind of laughed about it." It's
No,
like,
Boone did
Yeah.
actually. We both
Oh,
I mean,
Boone
I'll
tried to
give
reach out to them.
I not to answer for you, but because I know it's like, oh, it's an ego thing maybe, but like when you ask why, as a observer, like the interview you did with Sean Ryan was really huge. I think that has something to do with the timing.
but they did
It's the
that
ego.
prior. I looked at the dates.
Oh, they
Uh,
did. It was before. Okay, that's
the
interesting.
podcast was
Oh,
prior
I didn't
to
know that either. I
Yeah, I
didn't know
figured it
that.
was after because that's when I saw it.
It was
So,
prior.
oh
So
wow.
because you
So
the
I guess that had
problem,
nothing to do with it then, because no one
I
even knew that
know.
was coming
Well,
out.
and me, I agreed with Ian because Ian said that on one of the shows. I'm like, well, I mean, I get that it's an ego thing, but now that, yeah, now I'm more flabbergasted that, and that's a big word for a Ranger, man. You should be impressed I even
But it
used it.
is interesting because it's like Benghazi in terms of headlines. There really hasn't been much other than your interview with Sean Ryan.
One, and that's where coming in with even that, I was just, I just, it wasn't a planned thing. We just, hey, I'm here,
Yeah.
Sean. Sean's a friend. Hey, you want to do it? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be
I
an
just
ass.
figured that's when they
Yeah.
responded, but I'm wrong. I
Well,
can
they
say I'm
did.
wrong.
So Tig, help us, man. Why?
oh,
Why? What? Just
well,
because
the
saving
article came
face?
out after yours, but the podcast came out before.
So
So
is it so a saving face thing? They feel guilty. I mean,
I
I
well,
got my own opinions, but I want your opinion.
so
They get
I
my opinion
remember
every week.
I initially remember Sarah. She told me because she asked me about what they did one time, and this is like after initially like right after like in 2012, and I said, well, this is kind of what they did, and she goes, oh, well, this is what's going in the report, for them to get an award. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't really care.
We didn't care. We were still working,
Um,
and yeah,
but then I found out just before we went to the ceremony again. Sarah, she knows every freaking thing that's going on in this world, I
yeah.
think. She called me and said, "Hey, just to let you know that the Delta Force guys are telling people that they got Roan and Bub off the roof respectfully." Oh, dude,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like that's bullshit. So then when I went to the award ceremony, they both came up to me again, just very briefly, because they asked me, "Hey, do you remember when we were up on the roof?" Actually, it was kind of like little talk before that, and then like, "Hey, remember when we were up on the roof and all that gunfire was going on?" I go, "There's no gunfire." It's like, "Oh, you don't remember it?" Yeah, I do, because there was none,
The only
and that was kind
gunfire they had is I shot twice over their head. That was me, guys. Two shots, and then it just got silent. So I wasn't
but
shooting
again,
at them. So
yeah, but again, that was you're looking at 5 minutes after by the time they got
yeah,
up there.
yeah. That's
They
true.
weren't
It's
even
true.
there.
No.
So I think they're trying to, because again, they told the family what they said, and now one of them is potentially being upgraded to the Medal of Honor, the Army guy, the Master Sergeant, I think is
Yeah.
what it is, or something like that. And I think that's why they're trying to come out, because they're trying to save face to for him to get the medal, even probably the Marine, because they're both there doing the same damn thing. But then, of course, these other guys, they're coming out. Well, you don't know what all they did. Well, actually, we kind of do. They didn't really do a whole lot. Yeah, they got a hold of militia. Again, I read his whole freaking thing, and he even contradicts his own damn medal in his statement to Congress. He says when the mortars came in, they went into the building and waited 2 to 3 minutes after everything was quiet before they came out.
I
That's
think
his own freaking words. His
I
own
think
words.
somebody that we've had. What was it? That guy we had on the show. He wrote the other book about being.
Oh yeah,
He
you
found that
took
out.
Brad Podoliska.
Brad Poliski. Yeah, he actually found that contradiction out. He pointed it out on Twitter.
So, was
So
he ever up on the roof under fire?
they know. Well, they weren't.
I don't know.
Bottom line, guys, is that I'll put it there. We're asking we're asking a what's the word I'm looking for? A something
Rhetorical
question. A
question.
rhetorical question. There we are. I know flabbergasted, but I don't know rhetorical.
And
We're
then
asking
my
a
other
rhetorical
thing
question.
is, who are all these unarmed civilians that they evacuated?
The ones that we saved that were hiding in the building all night.
And
That's so
nobody was unarmed. Every one of us were armed.
no.
Every police officer has a gun.
Yeah, they did. Everyone had one on their hip,
So
man.
I'm like, so what other civilians did they evacuate?
Well, and we've offered, and I've even offered on this show, and we've offered in other settings. We even offered. I remember when the book and everything was coming, like, hey, you know what? You're right. I have no idea what you guys were doing in the building. Tell us. Let us know.
Let us
I'd
know.
love to know what you guys were doing. Maybe you did do something miraculous and you got the militia, which we found out later they didn't.
They didn't.
It was from Henry. Maybe you did bring air support. Well, no, the air support didn't, so it wasn't that. I was like, well, maybe something miraculous you did, or on the CIA side of the house, you did something for them as far as destroying classified documents that warrants an award. Great. But don't come out and say you did this when you didn't do it, but tell us what you did. Maybe there is something in there that is is warranted to the second highest medal that may be upgraded
I
to
mean,
the
if you're
Medal of
ordering
Honor.
pizza, at least share it,
I could use some Domino's, man.
right?
But well, and that's I wanted to get that here on this show because I don't think there's been a lot, at least recently, that where you've just told this is what happened. I know you've been going back and forth with people, but when I tell guys just know hear what Tig did, and then you don't have to go back and forth with Tig. And guys, everybody think that he's saying I was watching, Boone was watching, we were watching from our rooftop. So everything that he said he did, I am seeing it. So for those that don't believe him, go eat a bag of shit because I watched it, and we and I had a heart to heart conversation when we got to Germany getting drunk talking about it, and I remember that night very very much as well.
Yeah.
Um,
So again, for them, I'm again just reading again, going through so much stuff. Seeing actually reading what the State Department guys were doing and stuff. I learned a lot because again, I didn't know what they were really doing. But one of the guys was actually in the med room watching the back door, providing security for some reason. And he actually saw them picking up a body from behind the medical door. So if they got their bodies off respectfully, how would one of them be over there by the medical door being lifted off the ground?
you know,
Another eyewitness again, totally didn't know that until these douchebags came out and said we're lying.
You know what
well,
this makes me wonder,
yeah,
because I actually have no idea. So I know about the story of how the State Department and the government refused to pay for Glenn Doherty's memorial
yeah.
service. I don't know as much about Ty Woods, but just having Sean Lake and Brandon Webb as mutual friends, I kind of know that whole situation. So did they retrieve the bodies? How were they buried as? Because I don't know any of that.
Well,
because
you
because of how the bodies were disposed. I'm wondering, were they able to retrieve the bodies for like a
Yeah,
proper burial?
they were flown back home.
well, and
But were they
maybe
were they mutilated because of how they were
maybe
thrown off the roof? Or
maybe you go. I can tell you about Roan's because I helped pick Roan up, so I know what Roan's head looked like,
geez.
which
That was from them throwing them off the
from
phone.
him off. Roan's head. I'll tell you guys right. Roan's head was flat. It was I mean, when I saw it, I originally thought it was from the. I was like, did the back of his head get blasted off by a mortar? That's what I thought. And then I was like, no, wait, that was when he hit the ground. And
Mhm.
I remember covering him, and I did. You know, you said a prayer over Bub up on the rooftop. And you don't have to tell whatever, but that's your thing. You've always kept it very private, and I respect that. Um, but I did say a prayer over Roan, and I do remember his head. Just it was gone. It was flat. And it wasn't even gone. That's why it was awful, man. And that was from him hitting the ground when he dropped. And I've said that actually on national TV. I've said that a lot of times. So that's nothing that should be shocking. But yeah, that were they mutilated?
I mean,
Yeah,
they weren't
from hitting,
mutilated.
just from hitting the ground, Tig. I
Yeah,
mean, they weren't
I think it must have been like some small penetration wounds. I think because there was nothing like Oz or Dave Ubin were that I noticed. I mean, I didn't take their pants off or anything like that. I just saw from pretty much the upper. I didn't see any legs blown off, arms blown off. Their faces were fine. But
well, like you said, but Bub, he would split his. I remember his guts they hadn't fallen out, but he had that.
yeah. But I'm just saying
It's
initially.
initially, yeah. How we got him home, we put him on a flatbed. We drove him to the airport, and I talked about Sean and Bub's body sitting rigor mortis sitting, and his arm was. I had to
Yeah, I remember
rip
that.
his arm down. That was pretty. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, because they just kept looking at it, and I still remember the blonde haired D boy kept looking at it, and I was like, stop. I just was like, stop looking at the arm. And we were in the C-130, and I was like, screw this.
Yeah, I didn't
But
see that 'cause I was facing the pilots. I wasn't
yeah,
facing.
no, I'm sitting right there, and they're there, and I'm here, and he just kept looking at it. I'm like, fine, it's in my head. I'm like, fine, fuck it, I'll fix it.
Yeah, I remember
And
getting them in the body bag. That was jeez.
yeah, it was pretty brutal. Well, yeah, when we got and the ceremony, I didn't go to the reward ceremony. I actually wanted to ask you about that. How was that? And tell everybody what not the reward ceremony
I gotta
because
get.
and tell everybody what an actual contractor service defense medal and who actually got all those medals that the CIA
You want me
gave
to go
us.
get that? I have. I mean, I
Yeah,
made the
yeah.
plaque for it and stuff like that. I can go get it and show it
That'd
to
be
you guys.
Hey
cool.
man, that'd
Yeah,
be
why
cool,
not?
dude.
All right,
If you
because
got
to
it,
me,
yeah.
I think it's kind of it's a worthless medal, but it's good for my kids. But
No,
all right, give me
go
one.
grab it. Go
Yeah,
grab
go
it.
for
Heck
it. Go
heck
for
yeah,
it. This
heck
is
yeah.
this is going well. I think that the audience is going to dig this more than the first episode
Well,
with Tig. Because we have video and I mean, look, a lot of these details are obviously kind of brutal, guys, but I also think it's important to get the real
well,
story out there.
I,
And
I do. I want people to hear from. I know Tig's point of view. Him and I talk, and I want you to know this is why it angers us. This is why it angered Tig. This is what he did, and it does have mental scars and emotional scars. And then you top it off that you're getting called by liars, not by people on MSNBC. You're getting called liars by people from the community that you served with. To what end? And that's what makes that's just for ego, for follows, for likes. And again, another rhetorical question, but but that's not how veterans we should
Well,
act at all.
there
Yeah,
we go. You have to put it
but
closer for some reason. Oh, because of that
oh,
screen thing. I
your
think you have to put it in front
screensaver's
of your
jacking
body.
it
I think
up,
you have to
dude.
put it in front of your body, and it won't
Put
do
it in
that.
front of your body because your screensaver's jacking it up. Your
Yeah.
your background is jacking it up.
faces.
I think if you put it in front of your body, we'll see it.
I know. Hold on.
Okay.
I don't know what
Right
they
now, you're
have.
just holding the letter I in Tig.
I know, right?
Hey,
I'm just that
Tig,
cool.
do this with your hand, man. Do
Well, I'm
this
trying
with
to
your
get rid of
hand.
I'm trying to get rid of the background.
Definitely some comic relief here.
Yeah.
No.
I think you'll be fine if you just put it in front of your body.
All right, let's see.
Let's see.
It looks like you're doing charades. That's what it looks like.
No, now he's
What the hell?
covered
Now
up.
he disappeared.
He's
Wow, that's crazy.
I can't see.
This is really funny.
Oh, there
You
it
can't
is.
see anything. You can
Oh,
see that.
there
I
it
can
is
see
right
I can
there.
see the
Is
logo.
that it?
That's it.
Is that it right there? Is
That's
that the
it.
award?
Yeah, just the
That's
logo.
that coffee coaster.
It's a
Wow,
coffee
this is so
coaster.
funny.
That's
Zoom
the
gone
award. Yeah,
wrong.
I didn't go to the. Me and Boone are like, nah, fuck you guys. We're not going to the damn
Oh.
award ceremony. Yeah,
Anyone
well, that's-
not watching on YouTube, you got to go over to YouTube just for that part. If you're just
and,
listening,
and it's funny because it's right at dick level too.
Right?
It's right. It's right there.
I was trying to get rid of the background, but I didn't know how. So
I don't
know,
either.
dude.
I don't
I
either.
don't know. So,
Oh.
yeah. What was this? What
the
was
John
it like?
Brennan, I
And-
think, was the douchebag.
yeah,
director.
he was. And how did I mean? Did you know the cooks and the HVAC guy and everybody else was going to get the same medal when
No,
you got there?
I didn't really know what was going to happen. But I know we went in, we signed another NDA prior to
No
the-
way. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Mm-mm.
Holy shit. That was
Oh.
what, 4 or 5 since the holy crap. I didn't know
So,
that.
you know, then I'm sitting next to the cook. I think Jack is sitting here, then Oz, and then they got the cook, and then you got the maintenance guy who
Gotcha. I remember. Yeah.
shot the plane.
Yeah, the HVAC guy, little guy that shot the back of the plane. Yeah. I remember.
And we're sitting there and we get the reward, we get the big coaster, and we sit down. And I just remember the cook's looking at he's an army guy.
He was
He's
cool though. I worked with him in
oh,
in Mosul and in DeHook. He's a cool guy. Yeah.
He's looking at this thing. He goes, "This is so fucking disrespectful. I'm so sorry."
That was
That's what he
cool.
said.
Chef
And I
was a good dude, man. Chef
It
was
was
solid.
because he knew it. Again, it was a smack in the face because, you know, I would rather just don't even give an award out. You know, that'd have been the better thing to actually do because now you just, you know, I could have been the cook, could have been the support, could have been the maintenance guy, and you all get the same damn thing as being out, getting shot, getting blown up, rescuing people. But, you know, the guys who sit back and make the coffee get the exact same thing.
And not knocking you guys out, but that's the thing is the chef, at least he had the decency to say, "Hey man, I'm sorry," and he's right. He was spot on, right? And he was a good dude. And but when I heard about that,
I said the same thing, but I was sitting next to the cook. They're both just like, this is just wrong.
man, who made
So-
that decision? Was that a GRS headshed decision, or was
I
that
think
a?
it was Brendan himself, honestly. I think because you know, even when I talked to Wyatt, you know, afterwards and a couple other guys, they're like, "Man, every one of you should have got the intel, hands down."
Well, yeah,
Again, it wasn't about the award, anyways, but that right there was a complete smack in the face.
It was. And we'd already been smacked in the face enough at that point in time too. That's why I was like, "Hell, fuck you guys. I'm not going. I'm not. There's no way in hell." The State Department award, was there something? Was that the same time, or did they do something? What was that? What was that? Was that the medal? It's the medal. Actually, it is a pretty prestigious.
It's a true medal.
It is a
actually
pretty
wear it on
prestigious
you
award.
can wear it on your military uniform.
Is it tell me, go through
It's
that. How did that? Because me and Jack I never got that either. I never saw
oh,
one.
it's
I don't think
the
we're going to see it
event, and
again, but
Hillary signed it. I'm gonna read it.
no way. Wow.
What? She signed it? What the hell? No way.
So it's the award for heroism, but it's what it says for the heroism displayed by members of the security team under fire and in the face of extreme risk to their personal safety during the deadly attacks against U.S. facilities in Benghazi, Libya on September 11th and September 12th, 2012. The heroic actions of these professionals were selfless, valorous, and representative of the highest standards of bravery in the federal service.
That's actually pretty cool. I mean, hey, I would have loved to have had one of those. I think they threw mine in the trash. I never got one.
It was
Yeah.
January 2013. I think your name's on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, your name's on
I
it.
remember I came back from Yemen and I told those guys they were effed up
So we
and
got uninvited the day before the event. Anyways,
yeah.
we're
Well,
go.
mine's in the dumpster
Literally.
somewhere as part of it's recyclable material in a Starbucks coffee cup probably right now. So but
You know
that
what I
actually is
wanted to
pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I
But
wanted
even
to ask you, Tig, because we went through what we're saying.
no, so it's got the team leader's name. Our team leader, he got the award too. It's got
Ooh.
the interpreter's name on there.
Eh.
It's got Boone's name and Jack's name, and so I don't know how everything's secret. It's on a
Hmm.
public fucking award.
I just think there was a time where I was pretty outspoken against our TL and not outspoken. I just flat out whenever I was in the office just calling him, and I think one of his buddies who was one of the head guys there, to be honest, I think they just shit canned the award and threw it in the trash because I never saw it. But yeah, hey dude, take a screenshot of it and send it to me, or send me a pic. I'd like to have a copy of it, man. If you
Yeah.
can, that'd be
Yeah.
cool. Sorry, Ian, go
No,
ahead.
it's cool. And for the
I'll have to put TSSCI on it though.
Uh, no, he does.
what's
Yeah.
the abbreviation?
Dude, that's our secret security clearance, man.
All right.
That's what we got. What does it stand for? Top secret with compartmentalized information. Top secret compartmentalized information or something like that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'll
Heinous.
say what I was going to ask, and for the audience, 'cause I know someone's going to say something. You know, with the Zoom, sometimes it gets if we're talking over each other. I apologize, but yeah, the one thing I wanted to, well, I have a few things I wanted to ask, but you know, I do appreciate getting to the details of that. I know
Yeah,
that it's
thank you.
brutal. I know it's the type of thing that there's probably a segment of our audience that are like, "Ooh, I don't want to hear that." That are a little bit more squeamish to it. I totally understand that.
Haven't seen it.
But I think it would also be important to get into because Chris has gotten into it many times. What are some good memories that you have of Tyrone and Glenn Doherty and any of the other guys who we lost on that day?
Well, I have none of Glenn because I didn't know him. I never met the guy.
Yeah. You know,
Uh,
you're spending all your time in Benghazi. You never worked in Tripoli. Yeah.
No, well, no, I did. I was there when when it first opened up, and then
Gotcha. Gotcha.
then my other trips are down there, and you know, biggest Roan again. I only worked with Roan for I think just over 30 days. So I mean, the biggest thing I remember really about him was just always being out there drinking his coffee on the front porch like a freak.
Yeah, I forgot about that. He was like an old man, man.
Always
Old,
working out and shit and stuff, and yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I didn't do too many moves with him because I think I was mainly with Oz and because I was mainly with the guys who like Oz and I think even Jack mainly because it was their first times that were there. So I was with the newer guys for the most part. So I didn't really do a whole lot of movement with Roan. I
You
think
know,
Do
you
you have
lo-
any memories at all of Sean Smith or Ambassador Stevens?
never met Sean Smith either
I
because he
didn't
was
realize that. Okay.
yeah, and then Ambassador Stevens, you know, just yeah, he came over and did his little brief to us for about 45 minutes, and then I saw him again the following morning when we got the threat warning about an attack on a government facility on 9/11. And other than that, that's really no interaction with him but that.
See, if I could say it, and I think Chris feels the same way, this is why I really love doing the podcast because we speak to so many guys that now I feel like I've gotten to know them, like not necessarily through this, but it's like Robert Allen, who we lost, had these great stories of Ambassador Stevens. And then we have Sean Lake on, who has these great stories about Glenn Doherty. So, and even having Chris Beck on talking about Tyrone Woods. So, Yeah, I think just doing this and getting to talk to so many guys who are a part of this ecosystem, I guess we get to learn who they were even more so than you guys did, because having someone like Sean Lake on, who was a best friend of his and
Yeah.
snowboarded with him
Yeah.
and hung out with him all the time and drank with him and did CrossFit with him, like those are the stories people like to hear. So yeah, but I mean it's interesting to hear that, because I actually didn't know that you didn't have as much of a connection with those guys.
No,
Man,
go ahead.
no, I cut you off, bud. My bad.
No, I mean, you try to learn as much as you can, but usually, like in 30 days, you don't too much because usually you're so damn busy half the time. Um, yeah, I mean, it's usually you get to know people usually about between about the end of the second and the beginning of the third deployment is when you really start to get to know guys. Because a lot of guys, I mean, they kind of keep their themselves for the most part, especially the first deployment, first meeting guys. You don't really open up to them as much. You don't know who the hell they are because there's douchebags everywhere. So you got to, it's just normal for people, even at work. Think about work. How long does it take you to really get to know somebody?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's kind of the same mindset over there because you just don't know who people are. Because I mean, just like with Tonto, I've worked with some dudes. You don't want them to know who the hell you were.
Yeah.
Too late, motherfucker. Too late.
Yeah, well, you know what else I was wondering too is everybody kind of has their own perspective on this one, and it is interesting with these guys on X, of course, who are now saying, "Oh, I hope the real story of Benghazi comes out," which we know the real story. But I think everyone has a different perspective on this when it comes to foreign policy, and I mean, there is kind of a real answer, but from your perspective, why was the U.S. even involved in Benghazi?
Who, me?
Yeah,
No, the U.S. In terms of our foreign
Well, I
policy,
mean,
the Obama administration.
I
Why
think a
are we
lot of
there? Why do we have contractors there?
well, it's because we're a lot cheaper than military. We're expendable. You don't have to pay for funerals.
it's true. It's true.
It is because what you get, there's no retirement plan, there's no long-term medical care.
Yeah, in terms of Glenn, they tried to screw him over because he
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
married.
Yep.
But again,
Yep. Yep.
I got long-term permanent injuries from it, and I don't get paid for it.
I was.
Military, yes, I would have, but not contracting. You got to deal with it. Um, a lot of it, I think, just overthrowing Gaddafi. I don't know really why, because he was really stomping down on a lot of these terrorist organizations and kind of helping for the most part. But when the local populace in Benghazi stood up, I think it was just because we got involved because he was pretty much using the military to slaughter civilians, using pretty much air power and stuff. But overall, it was supposed to be Hillary's bread and butter to run for president if she got it going and doing stuff like that. And I think that's another reason why they tried to use the video so it wouldn't been as bad because remember Al Qaeda was on the run. And oil. I mean, there's a ton of oil in Libya. I mean, it is what it is. Um, and honestly, why the ambassador was there, honestly, don't know, don't really care.
One of the interesting paradoxes I've seen since this is just someone who reads about it, who didn't do what you guys did, obviously, is just that the U.S. narrative has always been that Gaddafi was a dictator and we needed to get rid of him. But then I sometimes look at the perspective of even actual African people on X. And I know that to a lot of the African people, Gaddafi was like a hero. He was trying to give people health care. He was trying to do housing. And there's a lot of people who think he was like a great leader. I don't know if the truth is somewhere in between those or what.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't really. Again, it's another foreigner. Don't really care. But like the people in Benghazi, a lot of people don't realize he only went there like once in the 30 years because he almost got assassinated. People hated him down there. They wanted to separate, north or the east and west, and make their own state. But again, not I don't really know. But the way our government works, kind of like the dude in Haiti, they named barbecue.
I'm
Ah.
trying to.
So look that guy up.
Okay.
And I think it's Haiti treating me Christmas. But look at the dude named Barbecue. Our State Department tries to label this dude as a bad guy and shit, just like a real shithead. Um, and they'd say like, yeah, he's named Barbecue because he eats people and all. That's what I initially thought too. But then I met one of my buddies that I know. You guys probably know too. I don't know if he wants it out, so I won't say his name. But he does a lot of trafficking stuff. and he helps a lot of kids. And so he set up a team. I know another guy that went with him too. He set up a team and went over there and actually met with they went over there to save an orphanage. So they had like 60 kids or something there. And obviously trafficking, these gangs get a hold of them, they do traffic the kids.
Sure.
So he went over there, rescued these guys, ended up getting linked up with this barbecue dude, and he started asking me, "Why'd you do this?" Because he said, like, because of the corruption. It was so freaking bad. He was a cop prior, like 20 years or something like that. He said it was just so bad. I got tired of it, and we just went up against. We threw them out. But so the dude's like, he was scared to go, thinking he's gonna die, but he did it anyways. He says, "So what do you want from me?" He says, "I want you to set up an orphanage here in the city for kids because I can't protect all these kids by myself. I got 12 that I'm protecting right now." So if this guy is so bad and so evil, why would he be protecting kids from other people?
And what they call him barbecue because he likes barbecue or
Like
because he
that's,
barbecued
that's
up
how he
his
got
kid?
so that's how he got the name. His mom or his family like ran a barbecue stand.
Yeah, and it's
That's how he got it.
we,
But again,
we're the great
so
at disinformation and manipulation, man. Our
so
government is
Coffee,
the great.
I mean, I don't trust our government what they say about him. Just like Iraq. Look what about Iraq. More I know now, we should never have went in there.
And a lot of us say the
Yeah.
same thing. Everybody, I'll be honest, quite damn 90% of us that are on this show that will say the same thing. Now, what we know now, would I do it again? Yeah, I probably would because
Well, yeah, I would do it, but
I loved it. I had a great I did. It was a wonderful experience for in perspective, guys. I know everybody, oh, wonderful. War's not wonderful.
there's other things
Those
besides
that know
war.
those exactly. There's parts that you can enjoy. You can enjoy and take some wonderful and beautifulness from it, and there's savagery to it too. But I'm with you too. And on the Gaddafi side, no, you dictators are dictators for a reason.
But that
These
place
countries
will
that have dictators, they don't have terrorists. There's a reason they got to be like that, man.
That's what I say. They only know an iron fist.
That's
They
it.
know nothing else. You don't have an iron fist, they're going to run right all over you, man.
Well, hindsight's 2020, and all we can say now is that we destabilized that entire region is worse off now than it was when Gaddafi and Assad were both in power. In my opinion, man, it's just a vacuum now. But
Yeah.
regardless, I enjoyed and I enjoyed working with you, even though you're uglier than shit. I still enjoyed working with and Oz and everybody down there. So
We're gonna play the song.
what? Oh, it's the LMFO, which
Oh.
they put it in the movie. Like
Alan could show it on
I'm
screen.
I'm too sexy,
LMFAO, I'm
but
sexy and
we
I
had
love
a
it.
me and Take actually had another song from LMFO that we would play when we were driving through town. It's called "I Am Not a Whore."
Yep.
Play
Oh, I remember
the
that.
one.
Is that them? Is that definitely
That's
them?
LMFO. Yeah,
You know what's
it
funny?
is.
I feel like we could get one of those guys on the show. I really do.
I would love to because that's
That would be
taking.
because one of them I sort of like know people who know him. I know he's in LA. It would be a cool, very
I can't
random
believe,
guess.
and I can't believe you fucking remember that. And the
Oh, yeah.
last time we did it, we actually
Yeah.
were taking Sarah out to
Yeah.
to put little listening devices and stuff in the computer in the internet cafes. We're
We need
listening
to get
that,
one of them
turn
on.
it
I think we could do it. I think we can get one of the LMFAO guys
Oh,
on the
that'd be
show.
great.
It would be
dude.
fun.
I
Yeah.
am not a whore, and we would play that song.
I remember
over
that
and
song. That was definitely them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because he had the
Okay.
damn
I had it on my phone.
CD. He had it on the phone. Yeah, that's
That's
right.
funny.
He
I
had it.
remember. Yeah.
Hey, I got one last thing because I've been asked this, and I know that, but I want to know that, but people want to know the story. The funny thing where this is not for spooning, where you had in your room with you and Jack.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me this on Instagram, like, can you ask Tig this when was the blanket and the 550 cord, was that real when you split the room in half with you and Jack? And did you guys ever spoon when it wasn't closed? That
Not
was
Navy, so we didn't spoon.
well, he's Navy. You're both are come on,
But
you're
I'm the men's
Marine.
department of the
Oh, I
Navy.
got you. Well, he's Navy. Kind of,
yeah.
man.
So yeah, it was. But actually, so what separated the actual room besides that was we had our like wall closet thingies.
Oh,
The
yeah,
wood-
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
We
yeah.
had those actually in between us. I had my side, his side, and then I had another 550 cord curtain that came across this way. Then his went all the way, the rest of the way down towards the exit door.
That's
Oh, but it was a room that was divided that way. Yes.
So no spooning ever? You
No
didn't
spooning.
spoon one time. I mean,
No.
Jack, for those that if we ever get to know Jack sort of does look like John Krasinski. So he's a good looking dude, man. I don't know.
No.
Well, but I'll be honest, that's all I got for you. But all the questions I got, I just want to make sure because you're still out there speaking, you're still out there, you're still out there promoting things. Give us where people can find you. I push people out. So those that don't know, that follow me, that don't know your social media, I push them out to you.
I mean,
What else you got, man?
I'm on True Social, the X, Instagram. Instagram, I can't log in on my phone. It's so weird. I can log into other accounts on my phone on Instagram, but not my main account. It's so
We're
freaking weird.
we're still getting shadow banned on. I don't. We get hammered on
I can
that.
log on other phones into that account, just not on my. It's so freaking. But anyway, so I'm on there, um, and then Facebook.
You
But
got to give it's at Tig Tiegen.
yeah, do look for TikTok and look for my wife, me and my wife on there. I am not single, and I'm not talking to any freaking females on there. So you're being scammed on any platform.
All
Dude,
you guys get
Do you used to getting that a
duplicate
lot? Most
accounts.
of mine has
dude,
stopped because I report.
I get letters to freaking DCF.
That's it.
I
Dude,
don't even open them. I just bring them right to the wife. Here you go, just in case.
that's that grinder account you have. That's where you're
I
getting
know,
spam,
man.
bid. You gotta get off that grinder, man.
All I know is these people are scamming these women out of tens of thousands of
Yeah.
dollars. I'm like, I'm in the wrong business, man. I could be retired by now.
Who
I
are
just
these women, man? I guess it's just you watch. I'm sure you guys have watched 90 Day Fiance at some point, and you watch that.
I know what
like,
it is. Yeah, yeah.
How do you've never watched it though?
Never even heard of it.
Oh, you haven't really?
It's
It is a fascinating show in that, like, all right, there's one girl on there who's like, a fat, like Midwest blonde girl, and she's dating this like jacked Muslim dude in the Middle
Yeah.
East, and she thinks he wants to be with her and everything. I think his name is Aslan. And he's like, "Oh, I need $6,000 to start my business here." And she's like, "Here you go," and has her family like lend money. And then they meet him and they're like, what's going on with your business, Aslan? And he's like, "Oh, I don't have any pictures of it right now." And you just are like, how did these people not know that you were being scammed? Like, he is not attracted to you. He is using you for money. I don't think it could be any more obvious. But for some
Well,
reason,
shoot them
man,
my
there's
name. I'm
just
pretty sure they'll find somebody like 100 people. Because actually, I've had detectives even call me from other states saying, "I'm pretty sure this isn't you, but we have to act." Because one lady was scammed like at 300 grand.
wow.
I once had a guy
Wow, what are you
who
paying? What are you
called my
giving
high
money?
school and or he emailed my high school as me, and he made like a bomb threat, and they called me in, they called my dad in. It was like Ian Scotto at yahoo.com, like I'm gonna blow up the school type of thing, and yeah, and it was just some guy online screwing him. He was
Well,
calling
there you
my
go.
house all hours of the night.
You're gonna use that Tig Tiegen and do a bomb threat. So that's your next call from the ATF, dude. They're gonna call you.
I
So
actually do have one last thing for you that kind of pertains to something Chris has spoken about, and actually just pertains to the fact that we're having you on, and we've wanted you on for a long time, but Chris has been pretty open that these guys going after you, Chris has said, has been a blessing in disguise, because for quite a number of years now, you guys weren't talking. And when I had Sarah Adams on last time, she seems like she's kind of the glue that keeps you guys together a little bit, still talks to everyone, and said that a couple of years ago she did want to have a reunion with all the guys, and she was getting calls from some of them saying, "I don't want to be in the same room as him, and I don't want to see." And now it seems like everyone is on the same page again. So I would love to hear your take on that.
I mean, I was always talking to all the guys for the most part. I mean, we all went separate ways, but I had no issues with any of the guys. Um, I mean, I don't know everything that happened between everybody, but I mean, hell, I really didn't. I work with anybody, doesn't really care. Still, I mean, I've been talking with Oz. I mean, Chris, he just changes his damn phone number more than
That is
freaking
true.
he has a phone number.
I sent it to you. I sent you, and actually, Oz and I are talking. Oz and I are talking.
You send the number to Margaret. I'd never get it.
Well, I didn't know, man. I did. Whose wife is? Who's Tig married to now? Shit,
Oh,
man.
whatever.
but yeah, but no,
But
go
I
ahead,
know,
Ben.
so well, I mean, I was trying to see if we can get one going this September, but I might actually be in police academy this September. So
Dude,
I don't
you
know.
know, because of the small nature here and where I'm at in Kansas, and I can rent the theater out, it would be cool to do something here. And I said, it's up to you guys.
This
I
is just
probably
you
do it
not wanting to
anyway.
travel. I know how
Well,
Chris
it
feels.
is, it is. I mean, but I would be cool, and that's,
I
I
mean,
mean,
for
and
me,
that,
it'd have to be during the week because at the police academy, if I end up going, it'll be during the weekend. So I can't do anything. It's like starts in June. So for like 6 months, I can't do anything during the weekends because it's all at the academy.
do you know? I think doing a reunion and maybe renting a theater out and showing the movie for whoever wants to would be cool with all of us. But it would take all of us, and we are spread out. You know, well, is Ozza still in Springs,
Yeah,
isn't he?
he's just not far from here.
Yeah, but I'm really, I'm about 12 hours from you. You know, Boone's all the way down in Florida. Jack's all the way on the other side of the continent, up in the communist state of Washington. And so it's tough to get. And Jack, as far as I know, he's still doing security. He's still
He is.
working.
Yep.
It's
And
Last time
crazy.
I
What do
talked
you
to
think
him,
of guys at that age still doing it? I was on
well,
the phone with our friend Jim West the other day, and I was talking about Dale Comstock, and
well,
I'm like,
have you
he's
not
still
watched
doing
John Wick?
security?
yeah, but John's not really doing the security we did. He's
Okay.
watching a gate. He's watching a gate and drinking
He's doing like
coffee,
John
man.
Wick stuff. What are you talking about?
What did John Wick of push the button so the swing arm comes
He's the
up?
hotel
Okay,
guy.
push the button so the swing
I didn't
arm
say
comes.
he was John Wick. I say he's
Oh,
doing
my bad.
so he's like the hotel greeter.
He's the hotel greeter. But
Do
I
you
see.
have a feeling on that though? Guys who are in their 50s, like still doing the hardcore contracting? Because I know for Chris, it's like, you felt like at a certain point you have to tap out. And I think there's
Yeah.
some guys who never want to tap out.
I think it's just I don't think it's the age. I think it's the mileage. It depends on the mileage you put on your body. I think will determine if you can still do it.
I agree. I mean, I got a new hip. I actually got my whole hip replaced and new quad. I can't do the job anymore. I mean, I can stay in pretty good shape, but as far as doing the job and wearing body armor every day, no, my body won't. All my fake pieces of bone won't allow that anymore. So I'm the same way. My thing is though too is that there's got to be a time when you want to be home too, and
That's what I'm saying.
if you don't, there is an emotional, nothing wrong with you, but there's something emotionally that it's just different than, I don't know,
They still want a home life.
uh, maybe you need a better looking wife. I don't know. I can't see it. My last trip in 2017 to Costa Rica, I would missed a Halloween. My wife sent me a picture of my 3-year-old son. I'm like, what the hell am I still doing this stupid shit for? I need to
Yep.
get home. And I can't relate to it. And I said, I'm glad that was a good question because I was gonna ask you that, but I forgot. But good thing he did. Because it's good that you kind of feel the same way. At least, again, I don't feel like I'm abnormal feeling that way. And
Also, I mean, it depends on what kind of security work you're doing. I doubt a lot of these guys are actually doing the door kicking, running, and gunning, and
I know Dale Comstock at least was up until recently because of the whole his face being out there with they were saying assassination attempts, which he disputes that of what that's called. I'm not saying anything that's like classified, but I mean I'm pretty sure Dale's like significantly older than Chris, and he's still out there.
and
there's some dudes that are just beasts too. I mean, but
that free testosterone. Keep shooting yourself up with 600
You're saying Dale
milligrams of free.
Comstock is on something?
Oh, are you kidding? Oh, no, no way.
He's
No
totally
way,
natty.
dude. He's so natural. That's just straight up whey protein, man. That's whey protein and hamburgers. There's no way. Dale, I love you, dude. A lot of you guys out there. I get it, man. That's what you do it. You got to take that free testosterone, just tone it down to maybe 6 milligrams a month, not 600 milligrams a month, and you'd be all right. But no, it's good that, man. It's good. I'm glad you're doing well. I think we should do a reunion at some point. It's just it's tough now because we all do have different lives. And Oz, I mean, isn't his daughter? She's in college. Did she get married?
yep.
The one that was always drinking. And she was, guys. The movie she was having problems with her drinking and getting into trouble and stuff. But yeah, I
That's a
mean,
lot of kids.
yeah, and Oz is significantly older than me and Tig, so let's just put it that way.
I got the
So
youngest one
you are the youngest, yeah. By me, I think me and Boone and Jack are all the same age, and Oz is 78.
by 10 years.
I know it's by 10 years. Oh man, yeah. No, it's good, and I'm glad we all. Yeah, Tig's always been the kind of that we could all talk to. Me, Oz, and Boone had fallen out. And that was that's all of us. It's just we all just do our different things, but you always come back together when somebody attacks one of your buddies and attacks a teammate, and that's what happened. So I'm glad. I'll be honest. That's a great thing that they did do something stupid like this. Because first of all, they're not going to win anything out of this, and
Yep.
second of all, it opened up the avenues of us coming together. And that just shows that's a real team to me. I don't know. Maybe you have a different opinion, but that's what a real team is. Not somebody that needs to hang out and drink beer all the time together. It's like, hey, one's attacked. Now we're all coming back, and we're all going to come at you and kick the shit out you. And
Pretty much. That's how it
that's
should
how.
go.
That's actually, yeah. That's what it is. But yeah, but you're like I said, you're always welcome
Yeah,
out
anytime,
here.
man.
If you want to teach a course, you come out. I got a guest house for you. You bring your wife, leave you alone. You're always welcome on the show too. Anything you want to promote, you just let me or Ian know, and we'll bump and get you on, man.
Yep, appreciate it. Yeah, hopefully, well, I'm getting my podcast going again. I really don't
Nice.
like it, but I'm gonna get it going again and trying to learn all the freaking crap.
You got to work with somebody like Ian that has been in radio forever,
Maybe.
and then hire somebody like Harold
Harold,
that's been
yeah.
in video. I don't know shit, dude. I don't know what I'm doing. I just go on the show that knows what the hell they're doing because, dude, we'll fuck it up. We can't do
Oh,
it.
I mean, yeah, it'll go. I'll get it going, but
Yeah, whenever it's going again, come back on,
Come back
promote
on,
it.
we'll
But
promote it.
yeah, once
Yeah.
again, at Tig Tiegen on X, on Instagram, tigtiegen.com. And yeah, man, anytime we'll do this. Like I said, the audience has really wanted to hear from you.
Yeah.
And if I look back, even on just the audio platforms, there's still like hundreds of people every week listening back to that episode from 2020. So there's people hungry to hear more. So awesome, man.
Yeah, and even like I said, we have video now. I don't think we had video then, did we?
No, just
Yeah,
audio.
so we may not get as many because they're gonna look and be like, "Holy shit, that's what he looks like," and they're gonna tune out.
I'm surprised it's still going. Come on.
Touche. Well played.
That's all for this episode of Battle Line Podcast. But we're always posting new content on social media. Follow us on Instagram at Battle Line Podcast and on Twitter at Battle Line Pod. That's an order. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes up every Tuesday. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or your podcast platform of choice. Believe in yourself. Face all challenges head on. And as always, never quit.